Hi all, welcome to the channel, welcome to the workshop. So today we have the next 6 issues of the Nissan Skyline, and today we've got a massive chunk of metal and we also have some electronics. So let's get into it, let's get building.
Welcome to the workshop. Tools are ready to play. We're gonna build something great, starting here today. Piece by piece we go now.
Right, so here we are, issue 39. We're going to kick off with this build pack. And again, just nice little flick through the magazine. And we're working on the rear differential. So we've got the subframe that we've been working on previously, and we're just going to be adding a little bit extra detail to that, and then we'll have that at the end of it. So these are the parts we get. I'm going to start off with this piece. This is a plastic piece, and we're going to get these two pieces, and they are just going to sit in the ends of here like this. And then we're going to take this cover piece, and that's going to hold those two parts in like so. And then we're going to use 2 AP screws to secure that in place, like so. I'm going to get this end cap, and that's just going to go in here. There's got 4 holes, 4 pegs. We'll only go one way round, and that's just a push fit. So that's in there, like so. We're now going to bring over the sub-assembly that we've been working on previously. And this is going to go through the middle like that. We've got 2 tabs that are going to rest on these 2 parts here. And then we've got that 1 screw hole just there as well. So it's going to sit in just like that. Now we've got 1 AP screw to go into there first. Just ensuring that is all lined up. And then we're going to follow that up with 2 AM screws into these 2 parts here. And we are going into metal, so just dip the edge of this into a little bit of oil just to help ease those into the metal. We need to take one of our drive shafts, and we need to check that it's the right way around. So we need to push the end of here into one of the CV boots, like so. Now what we need to do is push it into the end of there, and also on the end of this piece here. So we push that on like that. Now I think this might have been easier without putting this bit in first, because we now need to wiggle this around to try and get it to go in. In fact, what I'm going to do, I am going to undo this one and do it slightly out of order. So I'll get the other drive shaft and the other boot. I'm going to put that boot on there like so. Put that one on here as well. So that's pushed all the way in. And then it means that we've got a little bit of flexibility on this part. We can push that in there. Like so. And then we can do the same on this side. Push that in there, like so. And then we can get that all back lined up, and we can screw it all back together. Much easier to do it that way. So we've got those in there like so. So we've got the orientation of these. It's got the little dog leg facing the right ways. So we've got this orientation of it all. But that is all there is to do in that stage. Right, so moving on to issue 40. And again, just a brief flick through the magazine. And say, these are really good magazines. They tell you all about the Nissan story, etc. So, as well as obviously the part, which in this case we get a very large chunk of metal, you do obviously get this informative magazine, which is quite good. And as you can see, what we're doing is we're extending the chassis. And that's all we're doing in this one, but it's a big one. And here is the chunk of metal in question. And that weighs a lot. It really is an absolute solid chunk of metal. And I've just moved that out of the way for a moment. I'm going to bring the other half of the car over. And we're going to be joining this together. We've basically got 4 points here, and we've got these 2 tabs. So we need to place them together in this sort of direction. So part of it goes, this part will go underneath these 2 tabs. These 2 tabs will go over the top of this part. So just slide it in. And it might just need a little bit of wiggling just to get that to go in how we want it to. Okay, there we go, that's in. And we've got a total of 6 EM screws to go in here. I'm going to use my larger PH1 bit for this. Start off with that one. We'll start off with the outer ones. And make sure they're nice and tight. And then we do the 4 inner ones. And that is all there is to do in that stage, but oh my god, what a stage! I mean, look at the size of it. It looks absolutely brilliant. So we'll now move on to issue 41. And we're still working on the rear suspension. So back to the subframe there. We're going to be adding bits to it, it looks like, and we're going to end up with that. Again, it's going to be useful to leave the parts in the tray. Now we're going to start off with this piece. Now these are marked left and right, so we're going to start off with the left one. We're going to need these 2 brackets, and they're just going to go on the ends of here, like so. And we're going to use an AJM screw for this one. That's a new screw. Again, still going into metal, so using the oil. So we've got that like that. And then we're going to bring this over. And this is going to sit on this lug here, obviously ensuring that you do have the left one. So we've got obviously the left and right sides. Now, as far as I can see, this is symmetrical. So I'm personally going to be putting it with the L facing up. And we're going to need an AEM screw for that one. And that's going to go through from this side. Right, we're now going to turn our attention to a shock. And again, also marked with an L. And also marked with an L. And also marked with an L. So it's quite similar to what we've done with the front ones. We're going to take this and place it together like so. We've got the tab there, and we've also got this tab here as well. And they're going to connect together like that, and use an XM screw to secure that in place. And it's going to go through from this side because we've got the larger recess there. And that larger recess will take the screw head like so. So as we did with the last ones, the front ones, we need to put the spring on here, and then we need to put this on here. And if I just show you without the spring, when it goes in, we need to place it into that channel and twist it, and then it will lock itself in place. So we need to compress the spring, lock it like that. Okay, so let's shove that on there, and shove that down on there. It will take a little bit of force to compress this and twist it. Right, so we've got that on there and locked in. And we're now going to be adding that to this. And it's going to be going onto this leg just here. So like that. And then we're going to use an AEM screw to secure that in place. So you've got that spring in there like so. Now basically going to do the exact same thing for the other side. So starting off with that and the two brackets. And again, the AJM screws, like so. So we've got those two brackets on there. Bring over the sub-assembly, and again, I'm going to do the same thing. So I've got the R facing upwards. That's going to go on there, like so. And using the AEM screw to secure that one in place, like so. And then we've got another shock to build up. So again, ensuring that tab and that tab are aligned, like so. We're going to use an XM screw to secure that in, and again, just watch which way round the head goes. So that's in there like so. We'll make sure that is all the way home, so that the head isn't going to foul on anything. And as we did before, we're going to try and compress this spring and get that to lock into place like so. There we are. And then this one is going to go onto the lug just here. It's worth noting, make sure that you've got your little lugs facing towards the outer part of the vehicle. And again, just going to line that hole up and using an AEM screw to secure that in, like so. So we've got our suspension, rear suspension, looking just like that, and that is all there is to do in that stage. So move on to issue 42. It looks like we've got some more suspension parts. So we've got rear chassis stabilizers. It looks like we're still building up on that sub-assembly. And it looks like we are actually going to be attaching it to the vehicle as well. So we're going to start off with a part we had in the previous issues. And we're going to need these two parts. And we do have an L and an R on these to try and make sure that we get those the right way around. Right, so with the part from the previous issue, we have this one, which is marked with the L. That's going to go on here, and you know it's the right side because you've got this little chamfer here. So this is the left side, this is the right side. And that's just going to go in there like so, with the bone basically going away from you. And then we're going to use a GM screw to secure that in place. Like that. Going to do the same thing for the other side. Also making sure that is opposite this one. Again, a GM screw. So we have that assembly like so. And bring over our sub-assembly. And we've got 2 points just here and here. So that's going to sit in there like that. So we've got 2 AIM screws to go into here, and we've got 2 CM screws to go into there. I'll start off with the CM screws. Just ensure that lines up. Get the CM screw in there. And then we have 2 of the AIM screws to secure the ends like this. 1. And 2. So that's looking just like that. Right, I've realised I've missed an entire page of instructions. I've just skipped ahead by putting that piece on. So going back a step or two, I'm going to work around that one. I don't think that's going to get in the way, which is good. We've got this piece going on here, and we're going to use 2 AM screws to put that in place. So 1 just in there. And 1 just in here. So next we have these 2 pieces. Looking at that, and they are marked left and right. And we'll just double check. We've got the left side here, and the right side is here. Now we've got a pin and a hole, and it's just going to go into this. The pin's going to go into this hole, and the screw is going to go into that hole. So just to get those lined up like that, and like that. And we're going to secure that with 2 of the AM screws. one in there. And one going in there. We're now going to take this piece, and then we've got these two parts. We've got one going in this side. That's going to go in like that. And then we've got this one, that's a straighter one. That's going to go in just here. And they're basically going to have the pins facing outwards. And we're going to use 2 MP screws, one in each of those, to hold those in place. These are tiny screws. I'm going to switch over to my pH 00 bit. And it does look like they go that way. It looks like they would go into the hole, but the instructions seem to indicate it's that way up, and that they go into the, like so. So we shall see how that works. Again, just ensuring those pins face outwards. So we've got that like so. This then needs attaching to this bar just by those pins. I'm going to have to remove this because it's in the way. With any luck, I can just do that. So got 2 holes on this side. That's just going to push into there. Got 2 holes on this side, and that's going to push into there like so. Right, so that sits like so. I just need to put these screws back in. This is the point where you would actually put this in, and as you can see, it goes underneath that bracket we've just put in, and then also over it. So it needs sort of like threading in. Put these 2 CM screws back in. Right, so next up we have this piece, and this is going just in here like that, and we're going to use 2 AP screws to hold that in place. And the second one just going in here. Make sure they're tight. And then we have our drive shaft. It's actually metal. And that's going to slot into there. That way around. And then we've got this entire assembly. And we're going to use, going to put it into the bottom of here. Now, because we are flipping the car over, I will get my part upgrades mat, and that will help protect the top of the engine there. So what we're going to be doing is placing it in, so this drive shaft will end up in the back of that gearbox there. And then this whole thing will sit down in like this. Now, so we need to line up where the shocks go. Make sure they go into their respective slots. Right, so clearly this section here is not correct, because it looks like those 2 would go down into this. So I am just going to undo these 2 parts a minute. So I flipped that around. It really does look like that would go in like that or like that. So clearly that's got to go. So if that's got to go in there like that. I don't understand how that would go anywhere close. We've definitely got two AP screws to come through that hole. How have I potentially got these on the wrong sides? That's probably going to be it. That was on the wrong way around. So that would go like that. That would then go like that. Yes. Let's pull that assembly out. I'll just fix that one. So somewhere along the line, I managed to get this the wrong way around with the left and the right. So if I just pull that part out from there, reattach that like so. And then again, pull that one out. Put it in there like so. So now how that piece is looking like that. That is then going to slot in to there and into there, like so, with those lugs now facing downwards. And get our drive shaft, put that back in like so, line up the shocks so they are in the right places. It looks like we need to face these down, these wishbone components. Like that, because they're going to sit in the little recesses that are in here. Alright, after a little bit of manipulation, that is in there and down. We've got various points that you need to make sure all line up. The first one I'm going to be doing to secure this is these two wishbone sections. We've got two AM screws in each of those to secure that in place. Now this one I can show you nice and easily. And we'll do the same on this side. Again, just get that into that recess. And then get that screw into there. And the other one is going to be a lot trickier, but you're going to need a longer reach screwdriver and be able to get down in between all the suspension components there. Right, that's really not the easiest of screw to get in, that one just behind here. But they are both now in. Just checking where else any of these points actually sit in. I think they're all good. We now need to flip it over and do a bit of securing from the top side, starting with two CM screws, and they're going to go into the shocks. So one there. And one over here. We then have 2 BP screws that we need to put in, and they're going through the 2 holes in this speaker grill. On that, and one just going in there. And then we've got 2 AP screws going in here. Now those 2 AP screws are going to hold that little sway bar that I'd put in the wrong way up. So just need to probably support that from underneath as you screw these in. And now we need 4 more CM screws and 2 more BP screws. I'm going to start off with the BP screws. And they're going into the 2 holes just here. One. And 2. And they're just holding these pieces here. And then we've got the 4 CM screws, which are going to go into here, 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 and here. So just going to start off with this one here. That one on that side. And then we've got the 2 up here. Again, I am just supporting that sub-assembly just to make sure that when I'm putting these screws in, I'm not pushing it out or anything, and make sure it's fully up inside the wheel wells, etc. And that is all there's to do in that stage. And that is the rear sub-assembly looking just like that. And we've got our drive shaft in there. Surprised that's metal. It's obviously not functioning. We've got a lot of plastic here, but they gave us a metal drive shaft, and that's again plastic. That adds a bit of weight, I guess. But it certainly probably did not need to be metal. So we're now going to move on to stage 43. And again, just a quick flick through. And looks like we're doing the exhaust. We've got lots of bits of the exhaust to do. And we'll also be mounting that to the car as well. And we have that at the end of it. So here are our parts. Got some BP screws there. Now I'm guessing that's all plastic. It certainly feels quite light. And we've also got some AP screws. So we've got AP and BP screws. Again, just going to leave all the parts in there for ease. And it looks like we're starting off with this piece, which I believe is possibly the tip. And that is going into there like that. And it does fit one way better than the other. And we've got this slight little recess here, so that will go in that way, and it'll only go in one way effectively. We're going to use an AP screw for that. Got lots of AP screws for this issue. So just going to screw that one into there, like so. Then it looks like we have these parts. And they're just going to attach together like that. And we've got 2 AP screws to go in there. Like so. And with that this way around, that's going to slot over the top of there. We're going to get the other half of the muffler housing like that. And we're going to use 2 AP screws to secure that. So that's the rear section of the exhaust, like so. And then going to take this section, which I guess is our mid box. That's going to go like that. And we're going to assemble this section next. So as we did before, we've got 2 AP screws to hold that in place. One. And 2. We're not using this hole at the moment. It's just those 2 there. That's going to go over that lug and sit like that. And then we've got our other side of the box, which is then going to sandwich that together like so. Oh, actually, we need to secure that with a BP screw first. In fact, we need to secure both sides of that with a BP screw. So, one in there. And one in there. And then we put the box over like that, and we secure that together with 2 AP screws. So, one in there. And one in there. And next up we have our catalytic converter. And that's going to go in with this lug being the very last hole. We've got this pin here that goes into that one, and obviously we've got the center one there. That's going to be a screw hole. So we've got that looking like so. And I'm going to secure that with an AP screw. I'm then going to take this piece and this piece, line those up, secure them together with another AP screw. And then we have these 2 pieces. I'm going to put this one on here first. So we're going to put this piece on here first, that way up, with the screw hole facing up. And then we have this other half just to go over the top of that. Push all that together like so. And then we've got 2 AP screws to go in here. And then for the third one, we're going to place that over the lug. It's a bit tight, but it does go. and then secure that with another AP screw through there. And that is our exhaust complete, like that. And we're now going to fit it to our car. So I'm going to start off by flipping the car over. We've got these two bits here that's going to line up with the manifold on the back of the engine. And then that pretty much just lays in place for you. Nice and simple, like that. Now we do have all of these lugs, and they're going to correspond to the points in the bottom of the car, as you can see. But once you've got this lined up on the manifold, like so, it pretty much does just sit itself in position. And we're just going to secure that with 5 AP screws. I'm just going to turn it on its side for a minute, hold this bottom muffler in, and I'm just going to start off from this end and get a screw in there. So that's now not going to drop off there. And obviously we've got it secured the other end with the muffler or with the manifold. So I'm just going to work my way along with these AP screws, and you can see where you need to place it because you can see the silver poking through the holes. Again, just supporting it from the underside. And last one, just going in here, like that. And that is the exhaust, all attached, looking like that. And that's all there's to do in that stage. Now, the next stage, we don't actually need the car at all, so I'm going to put this to one side. Now, I think this is a bit of a tease me issue, and you can see just off to the side there, we have some electronics. However, it looks like we're just going to be building the remote control up and not doing anything else, so it'll be a wait till next month to probably start playing with that. You see, we've got the remote control parts here. Now, we'll need a 2032 battery, which I've got there. But it is just a case of assemble the remote, and that is it. So these are our parts. We have the remote circuit board. We also have the car's circuit board as well, but we're not doing anything for that, so we'll keep that one in there safe. But we get all the remote control parts out. And we're quite simply just going to be placing the rubber buttons in there. We do have this little peg, so you can't put them in the wrong way up. Just going to push those in so they come out like so. We then got our circuit board. Again, that's got a hole in it as well, so that peg will line up like that. And then we just simply got to click this over like that. And that's our remote, looking like that. And then we just need to finish off with our 2032 battery. That's going to sit in there. It is noted that it's got a positive side, so make sure that goes in the right way up. And then we're just going to slide that in to the bottom there. And that's our remote control completed. And as I said, we do have this circuit board, but we're not doing anything with that this time around. And that is all to do in that stage, and all there is to do in that build pack. Right, so obviously that's going to get mounted there at some point. One thing I have noticed is, or noticed that we have a lack of, on other vehicles we've normally had battery box access cover. So it'd be interesting to see where that potentially will go, assuming this is not going to be mains powered. And even if it's going to be mains powered, there's nowhere for that to go either. It'd also be interesting to know, obviously, got power going to go to this somewhere. Try and work it out. And these are just called A, B, C up to W, I think. But we got VDD there, so voltage in. So this is going to be power in. So it'd be interesting to know where the power source is for that, unless it's maybe in the boot. But with this being metal, it might be a bit difficult to try and get a power mod for this. But we shall see, maybe next month, assuming we've got more electronics coming next month. But that is all there is to do in the build pack, as I said. And that is what our car is currently looking like. Looking absolutely fantastic. And obviously we've now got pretty much the full length of this car with those chassis point, that last bit of the chassis coming in there. And we've got that sub-assembly there and the exhaust, etc. Now obviously we've got the front sub-assembly as well. I'm surprised we haven't actually been asked to fit that yet, so I assume that's probably going to be next month. And probably weren't fitting it yet due to the exhaust there. But looking pretty good. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please remember to hit the like button below and give us a massive thumbs up. So that's the build done for another month. That's the end of that build pack. It's looking absolutely fantastic. It's certainly a very large model, as you can see, obviously 1/8 scale, and it's quite long. The Skyline is obviously not a short car at all, but looking absolutely fantastic. And obviously with adding the rear sub-assembly there, it has made our parts list dwindle a little bit of what we've got spare left in our boxes. I think we've only got the front wheels and front subframe, plus a couple of odd little bits like the steering wheel and the wheel bolt covers. But looking really, really good, and it's nice to have pretty much all the parts that we have currently in one place like that. If you want to see more of how this progresses or anything else that goes on in the workshop, please do remember to hit the subscribe button and ding the bell for notifications. That way you get notified when I release a new video, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Until the next time, I'll see you around. Cheers.